Hello, hello, and welcome to the show because you are now tuned into a brand spanking new Monday Night Live. That's right, aka the Hangout stream, aka the Chill stream, baby. All fired up. I'm ready to have some fun for July 24th, 2023, and brought to you by yours truly, the man broadcasting from behind the curtain. You know who I am. Because if you don't know by now, you can visit www.livefreeliverich.com. That's right. Or simply Google this name. You can bet your ass you'll find out. How you people doing? You doing all right? You surviving out there? You survived the apocalypse? Getting ready for the zombie apocalypse, the post-apocalypse? Huh? You building up your pantry yet? What's going on? I gotta prep for first segment here. So you guys can hang tight. It's been a week. See what we got here. What do we got for tonight? There we go. We got the good ones here. I'll be giving you guys the briefing in just a tick. All right, what do I got lined up for tonight? Let's see what's going on here. All right, good over there. All right, let's see what we got for tonight. Tonight, I have some news in regard to the rise of alternative media and how that provides consumers with a significant means of discovery. I'll also be talking about how AI may be playing a role in stealing your humanity. You heard that right. Let alone your artwork, for that matter. And for reading time, I'll be taking a trip to the Hanging Gardens of Arcadia. But before I do all that, before I get to all that, I like to take this time, slide right inside my first segment of the night, where I like to talk about some books. That's right, that are currently available or coming soon to an online store near you. Yes, it's true. See what we have up first here tonight. All right, from Doug Dorsey. He says, hey, thanks for the awesome lift, Jonathan. Here's my new dance-themed murder mystery, which will debut on March 17th, St. Paddy's Day. Hey, look at that. It's already out, ready for you guys. Check it out. Let's take a look at Kickball Slay, an introduction to West Coast swing, and a murder mystery by Doug Dorsey. Assigned to investigate a series of deaths, Detective Evan Myrick quickly learns that the competition circuit in West Coast swing is full of suspense, intrigue, conflict, and apparently even murder. Now he'll have to dance with danger to solve a mystery unlike any other, while pursuing a killer who appears a step and triple step ahead of him at every twist, spin, and quarter turn. Will Myrick be able to figure out who is slaying the competition on the dance floor and off of it? Or will a perpetrator seemingly in lockstep with death outwit him? Get ready for a killer good read, while also learning some valuable West Coast swing dancing tips and tricks along the way. 329 pages. Christian suspense, private investigator mysteries, Christian mystery and suspense. I like that blurb. That was creative. I like all the play on words there. All right, we're going to keep it moving right along. Next up from Ashley Long. Says, check out my book, Wolfed Down, an anti-hero billionaire shifter romance. Oh, look out. Ready to bark at the moon on this one. All right, Wolf Down, anti-hero, billionaire, shifter, romance. This is part of the Blood Wolf Chronicles, Book 1 by Ashley Long. Love and revenge collide in this dangerous game of the heart. Kai Jurgen, a billionaire alpha werewolf, has everything he could ever want. That is, until a hunter mistakenly kills his fiancée. Determined to seek revenge, Kai sets out to ruin the hunter's life, costing him his job, his home, and even his marriage. But when that isn't enough, Kai decides to kill the hunter's ex-wife. Except, as he goes to attack her, the wolf side of him takes over, and he finds himself unable to kill her. Instead, he finds himself drawn to her and can't resist the growing feelings of love he has for her. Will Kai be able to control his need for revenge, or will he lose his fated mate in the process? Uh-oh. There's complications. 156 pages. Paranormal werewolves and shifters romance. Billionaire romance apparently is a category all on its own. It's a very specific type of romance. You know, the billionaire romance. You know, werewolf and shifter romance. I would think that, you know, I used to, like before, I would used to think that, you know, saying werewolf shifter romance was being very specific, whereas you just say it's paranormal romance, it would just fall under the umbrella of paranormal romance. However, I know that's like, it's become such a niche at this point that it almost constitutes its own category. However, I will say that this is the first time that I've ever seen the billionaire romance category on Amazon. I'm not surprised that it's a category all on its own, however. I almost would say more of a billionaire fantasy opposed to billionaire romance. It's your billionaire fantasy, ladies. All right, we got one more book to cover here. Alabama Hellbilly just shares a link to their book. This is Disposable Children 3, Facing the Darkness by James A. Wendt. Anthony Banquin, no longer a child, enters adulthood consumed with rage and pain. With each passing year, he finds himself sinking deeper into a world of crime, violence, and drugs. His past threatens to destroy him as he struggles to put it behind him and make peace with himself. In the end, the greatest threat to his life and sanity comes in the form of a madness sweeping across North America. TikTok? Can even he survive the satanic panic? Uh-oh. 358 pages of occult horror, occult fiction, crime fiction. That sounds like it could be fun. Yeah, although it's number 3, so I'm assuming, yeah, it is part of a series, or trilogy, I guess. There is 3 books in this series thus far. Those are the books. Those are the books, ladies and gentlemen, for this week. You know what to do. You can head on over to the community tab. You're watching this on the replay. And don't forget to cast your vote this week for which one out of those 3 books you thought had the most text appeal. That's right, text appeal. In other words, which one out of those 3 aforementioned titles would you be most likely to pick? And if you'd like to discover more from the independent market, you can head on over to my shorts tab or my playlist tab. And guess what you can do? You can open up some mystery packs. That's right. Inside each mystery pack, there is one cover card that will reveal a book from the independent market that was recognized by the Live Free, Live Rich network. And then in the description section of each one of those videos is a link to an editorial specifically written on that book by yours truly. Moving right along into the next segment here, into the Reader's Review. The Reader's Review, people. What do you think? Do you read books? This is what I want to know. Do you read? Do you take a book in your hands, you open it up, you take a peek, and you see there's words in it? There's words in the book, and you can read them. And then sometimes after you're done reading the book, you close the book, you put the book down, you think about it for a minute, and you're like, I want to think about that one for a minute. Let it resonate, marinate inside the old dome there. There's a brain inside there. You think about it. And then you're like, you know what? Shit, I'm going to write a review. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a review. And this is what this segment is for. This segment is for those of you who take the time to not only just read books, write a review for books, but more specifically, those books just so happen to be from the independent market. That's right. I want to highlight you readers who are writing reviews for books on the independent market. You readers out there who are giving these otherwise highly obscure titles the time of day. So share a review with me. That's what you can do. If you would like to become a part of the show in this way, there's multiple ways you can get involved in this segment of the show. One of which is what I just said. What I'm looking for really is short form reviews. You don't have to get too crazy with it. This doesn't have to be a full analysis. Just think like Goodreads, a basic Goodreads review, a customer review on Amazon, something like that. Okay, a social media post, really, with like your rating, and you share your rating and you give a little short review of it. That's really all I'm looking for here. So you can be a reader and you can share a link to the review. I'll read your review on here. All I want is your experience with the book. That's all I care about. I want to read your experience. I'll share your rating on it as well. And I don't care if this was primarily a positive experience or a negative experience. That does not matter to me. All I care about is people who are being proactive and wanting to interact and get involved. That's all I care about. So I want to highlight you readers out there that are giving indie books a chance. And you can share a link to your review. I'll read it on the air and get a little plug for your social media that way, or your Goodreads or what have you. And another way is for authors, you yourselves, you indie authors out there. If you want to highlight a reader that gave your book the time of day and you just want to say, hey, I want to share this review, you can send me the link and I'll do the same thing. I'll read the review on your behalf live on the air. Now, the third way, and this is the new way that you can get involved on this segment. Now, I said short form reviews. However, I am open to the idea. I am open to the idea of having people who create content on Booktube. So if you are like a content creator in the Booktube sphere and you read and review indie books, even if you have content like that you upload and this and that, I am interested in having you on as a guest. You can come on the show. And what I'm thinking is now I'm open to ideas. This is like a brand new segment, just trying it on for size, see what happens. So really just another opportunity really to get involved. I like to come up with all these different ways that people can get involved. And this is just another one of those ways. So I'm open to ideas. What I'm thinking is I have you come on the show, okay, and you come prepared with one book in particular. So this could be a reoccurring thing. In other words, I'm contemplating the idea of like, this could be a reoccurring thing. So like, if you want to be a regular on the show, you could, if you wanted to. Like, in other words, each and every single time you read a new indie book and you have a little something that you'd like to share from that particular experience with that book, you could book a spot on the show and I'll bring you on. We could have a little chit chat, just be like a short little spot where you can come on and share your experience with a particular book. And I think it would be fun. And I think it's just be a different kind of way to start, like including other people who may not be writers or authors themselves, but just enjoy the indie scene and are willing to read indie books, because I think that's important. I think we need to pay attention to the people who are, not just consumers of the media, of the form, the art form, but also people who are willing to talk about it as well. All right, moving right along into the announcements. Into the announcements, people. Let's see what's been going on, shall we? Not a whole hell of a lot of news. I do have a little something that I like to talk to you guys about. That is out of the ordinary. But first and foremost, a little housekeeping. So, like I said before, I like to try to come up with all these different ways in which people can get involved in the show. So it's not just like, this isn't a show that is just meant to be for authors and artists, but I also want to get like content creators, readers involved, kind of like all these different ways of getting involved. So the easiest way to kind of like figure out how you can get involved in the show is to join one of our group servers. So I've opened the Gilded server. I've opened the Discord server. There's nothing really too fancy about them. The link to those are always in the show notes down below. It's an open invitation. Everyone is allowed to join, has the opportunity to join, I should say. And I set up all these different channels on these servers so you can share various things with me. You can share your links to your books. If you're an author, you got a new book released, you can share links to that. You can share video with me if you're a content creator. If you run a blog, you're a writer and you've run your own blog and you post, whether it be poetry, short fiction, essays, editorials, anything like that. You can share that stuff as well. Now, readers, if you run like a book club or you're hosting like a buddy read type event, anything like that, you can share that stuff in there. Also, artists and comic book creators. I know you guys are big in the crowdfunding sphere. You got crowdfunding campaigns coming up, anything like that. You want to book a spot on the show, you can come on, talk about your campaign. We'll walk through your campaign, maybe learn a little bit about you. We could do that too. So there's all these different various ways that you can get involved. However, it requires your participation. That is the one and only thing that I ask and that I expect from people coming in. No, this show doesn't have the biggest audience on YouTube. However, I'm here for the engagement. I'm here for the interaction with my peers. So I'm somebody who is here because I actually care about what's going on in the indie scene in general from an artist perspective. It's fun for me. It's kind of like, there's like the underground community, if you will. You can get to know people. This is kind of my way of like making connections with other creators and other people who are proactive in the scene. So that's kind of what this serves for me. But I'm not going to go out of my way, and I'm not going to go out of my way to platform projects and this and that for people who are effectively sitting on their hands and they're just sitting back and waiting for people to discover them. Like, you have to be willing to participate. In other words, that's all I ask. And literally, I make it very, very easy for you to do that. Hence these group servers. Literally, all I'm really asking you to do is just be willing to share links. So what that does for me is I use that as effectively you granting me permission to talk about your projects during the show. Pretty simple stuff. What else we got? We got, speaking of opportunities, this one is specifically for the writers in the writing community. So whether you are an aspiring author or you are a published author, this is a little project that I launched on the eve of 2022 that I call the Storytellers Society. And I've prepared a little presentation for you guys on that, so I don't feel like a broken record here. Storytellers Society, still accepting open submissions. This is a public collaborative project kind of basically an outreach program, really, for my peers in the writing community. What I'm looking for is flash fiction for this project. Flash fiction for this project is fiction that is between 500 all the way up to 2,000 words. This can be fiction that you actually have published somewhere else, so long as you own the copyright and you have the right to give me permission to republish it on my blog, where it will be free for public viewing from now and indefinitely. Just because you submit something doesn't mean that your work will automatically be published. It does need to be approved, but if approved, then you'll effectively book yourself a room at what I've dubbed the Hotel del SS, where all the members of the Storyteller Society stay. Isn't that special? Put that together earlier in the week. All right. And last piece of business here for housekeeping. Last piece of business here for the housekeeping is, if you want to stay on the up and up with what's going on with the entirety of the Live Free, Live Rich brand, what you can do is head on over to www.livefreeliverich.com. Right on the home page, there's a little spot down there where you can stick your name in if you feel so inclined, and add your email, and subscribe to the weekly newsletter, where I send out exactly one newsletter every week on Saturdays that will provide you with all the pertinent links to keep you on the up and up with everything that's going on across the entire brand, whether it be Live Free, Live Rich Network, Live Free, Live Rich Entertainment, and what have you. Now, I do have a little piece of special news to share with you guys. Just a little something. This is kind of just out of the blue, really, because I just got it today. So for those of you who've been watching the show, you may remember me a while back, earlier this year. I had a little interview with somebody by the name of Richard, who is the lead editor, director, and owner of a website called ironage.media. And it was about his project. He was launching a magazine project on a crowdfunder, and that he called Anvil Magazine. So here's a little clip from that.
So for me, it's about affecting culture, right? I'm not happy with the way that culture is right now. So it's a way for me to build something better.
So that was back in March. Back in March, he launched this magazine. It was in crowdfunding, okay, for this magazine. And this is a magazine that he calls Anvil Magazine, Anvil Iron Age Magazine. And the purpose of this magazine is to focus on showcasing independent authors, artists, musicians, just the whole indie scene is what it revolves around. And just today, just got this in the mail, went outside, saw this was on my doorstep. And this is issue number 1. So 4 months later, and Richard has delivered upon his promises from his crowdfunding campaign, made it on time. Issue number 1 for summer of 2023. I haven't even had a chance to take it out of the package yet. But I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Richard and congratulate him on seeing his project all the way through to the end. And one thing is, this project was not without its hurdles either. I will give kudos to Richard for kind of remaining transparent through the whole process. even when he came up, he faced hurdles. This is his first project, his first magazine that he launched. And it's got a lot of moving parts, as you can see from the names on there. He's working with a lot of different artists. I know he did have some help, I think, from a buddy of his or something like that partnered with him. But for the most part, Richard was the main director as far as organizing this whole thing from beginning to end. So, so shout out to Richard on that. And I just want to say that, like, even with facing the hurdles, he managed to overcome those obstacles and still managed to deliver upon his set goal, which was, if I remember correctly from the interview, he did say it was going to be shipped out in July. So received it in July, and he made good on his goal. So I'm looking forward to sitting down and flipping through that and checking out some of the work, check out the layout of the magazine, and checking out some of the short stories and the comic book previews in there, and see what it looks like. All right, we're going to go right into some reading time now. Actually, before I do that, let me just say one more thing on the announcements. If you guys have some news with any of your projects, even if it's just like a blog post or something, like a short blog post or something like that, where you're given like updates, like, in other words, this could be, think news, like if you got like a book club announcement or a buddy read announcement, or you're an author and you're going to be making an appearance at like a convention somewhere, or you got a book signing event at a particular location or something like that, and you want to share that announcement, you can share that news with me, and I'm happy to share it here during a future live stream. Just make sure that if you're sharing news, the thing about news, I don't really put it in the queue. Like if it's news, usually I can get to most of the news within one episode, because news is just like, it's usually just a short little announcement type thing. Unless I'm doing like a full-on crowdfunder campaign coverage, in which case, I usually do those one at a time. But other than that, if it's just like a short little like announcement type deal, I usually try to get them all within one show. So if you're doing something, just make sure if you're sharing it with me that you're not doing it before, like if you're going to like a convention or something, like you're not going to the convention before I have a chance to even talk about it. I mean, if, at that point, obviously I'm not going to share the news. All right, reading time. What we got for tonight? I got a short story. This is, I guess, a little flash fiction. This is The Hanging Gardens of Arcadia by Anthony Joseph Buffa via his Substack. So let's see what he's got for us. This comes from the Discord server, by the way. So that Discord server, you guys want to kind of just hit me up on the down low and share some links with me. Like I say, you can share them over there. All right. The Hanging Gardens of Arcadia by Anthony Joseph Buffa. There once was a country in caravan called Arcadia. It was once a province of the Odessa Republic called Beersheba, before they seceded from the Union a century ago, but not for reasons that concerned the rights of citizens nor the abuse of power, from the federal government, as many of the other provinces had done over the years before returning to the Union of its own free will. Once it had seceded, the people running Arcadia's government committed many unconstitutional actions and heinous acts against humanity, transforming itself into a totalitarian nightmare. Its government had gone against everything that the Odessa Republic had fought for, committing to its ideology and playing God with the human race. It was once a beautiful place in Odessa before it became a dreaded barren land of reds and yellows, where the growth and health of its crops remained inconsistent and almost impossible to grow as healthy as they once were a century ago. The lower classes endured the famine that plagued their country, as the people in their high castles laughed and ignored Arcadia's ordinary citizens as hunger, disease, poverty, discrimination, even petty crime consumed the lowly streets of towns and cities. One day, let's see what we got. One day, a sun-tanned, agile traveler with long gray locks visited Arcadia's capital city, known as Red Dawn. None of the Arcadians knew the stranger's name nor where he came from. It was as if he appeared out of thin air from the wastelands of the Arcadian desert, riding on a pale horse like the deity of death. The sun-tanned man and his horse arrived at the hellish cityscape that was as red as the cloudy sky above the city. To the distance were high towers plastered around the city of Red Dawn, here and there, where the rich and powerful reside away from contact with any of the poorer classes below the trash-filled streets. As the stranger and his pale stallion entered the slums of Red Dawn, they came across many poor and homeless citizens sitting on the streets or in the alleyways. The alleys filled with strays smelled of piss and manure, and the streets were just as dirty and repugnant as the homeless, with faces and clothes rugged and dirtied, who slept in this mean-spirited atmosphere. There were a handful of strays who had eyes that were blood red, and their skin was pale and yellow. Flies buzzed around the poor, sapped citizens with the stench of death hung over them. Some of the strays only glanced at the newcomer, indifferent to who or what he was, before they continued sulking over their misfortune, while others simply ignored the existence of the stranger, too consumed by their misery and woes. Suddenly, men, women, children, even teenagers ran up to him on all sides, begging for money, food, medicine, anything that could bring them a little happiness or hope to survive another day in this infested city. But the stranger ignored them as he continued riding his horse down the street, his eyes focused on one of the towers that overlooked much of the city. The stranger and his stallion finally approached the large looming tower, its shadow casting over the sun-tanned man and his pale horse, like a man looking down upon ants. The tower reminded the sun-tanned traveler of the Hanging Gardens of Babylon, one of the 7 wonders of the world of caravan that was built in the city of Babylon, along with another of the 7 wonders called the Tower of Babel. Like the ancient city, the 2 wonders had been lost to time since the great flood that Puran, the chief god and protector of caravan, rained down upon the Babylons, punishing them for their hubris, who saw themselves more powerful than the gods and sought to reach the sky as they did. These towers that were built throughout the city of Red Dawn were tall, spiral-shaped homes that housed many of the rich residents of this city. even some of the government officials who forwarded and approved the construction of these buildings in the city. These were lavish, expensive apartment homes for the upper class, 70 floors filled with large, open apartments, hanging gardens on each floor big enough for 20 people to walk around on. It beat having to live in a house or any other ground level property on the filthy streets of Red Dawn, but nothing can stop the cries and woes of the starving men, women, and children that keep even the rich from 10 stories high awake at night. The stranger hitched his horse by the front entrance before walking to the front entrance. He poured through one of the windows and saw the lobby was as grand and lavish as the hanging gardens that the stranger saw above him. Fountains were plastered between the hallway from the entrance to the lobby, as well as many beautifully grown plants. All this beauty inside the tower was absent in the streets of Red Dawn that the stranger saw throughout his journey here in the city. Such magnificent architecture would invite anyone from the outside world to enter, although the stranger would have entered through the front entrance of the tower if he hadn't noticed the poster stuck onto the other side of the window that reads, "Notice, proof of being, vaccinated, required. We have zero tolerance for treasonous, anti-Arcadian stupidity. Thank you for pondering." Surprised it doesn't ask for a mask, too. Double mask, triple mask. Cotton swab up your ass. The suntanned stranger did not know he could find people in what's going on here? Hey, Rachel. Just saw you popped in there. The suntanned stranger did not know he could find people in Caravan with so much ignorance and inhumanity in them as the rich and powerful who lived and breathed in Arcadia. Then again, he was no stranger to having come across such arrogant and discriminatory behavior from the likes of Caravanians throughout his journey. Unfortunately, the last thing the stranger wanted to do was get himself into a fight with the authorities that had a very low tolerance for any citizens, including travelers like him carrying guns on their person. So he decided to sleep elsewhere, finding it best to avoid confrontation altogether with this predicament that the Arcadians made for themselves. Night fell on Arcadia. The stranger stared up at the stars in the night sky, counting the constellations that he could find. He had set up his tent on the pebbled rooftop of a 4-story building, just a few blocks across from the tower, while he hitched his horse in the alleyway by the side of the building. The stranger hoped the police would never find him and his horse tonight or tomorrow before finally heading out of this broken-down city. All was silent when he suddenly heard glass shattering from a distance. He stood up and peered near the edge of the rooftop to investigate the commotion going on by the tower. A group of strays was huddling up in front of the entrance of the building, carrying torches and any lethal weapon they could carry besides a plank of wood. They had gathered around a man who appeared to be their leader, a balding, long-haired, homeless man carrying the national flag of Alexandria. "We have endured their oppression long enough," cried out the leader of the enraged crowd of strays. "It's about time we showed them it's like to endure. It's about time we showed them what it's like to endure the suffering from this red plague, to let them experience the pain of this disease without lending a hand to help our community. We poor folk who slowly starve and curl up in this abysmal heat until we all die." They don't give a damn what happens to us as long as they hide in their ivory towers away from the sick and poor who we once depended on to make things normal again. Well, no more will we stand by as the rich and powerful wait for us to die like insects. We shall punish these fools who have closed the doors on us for seeking shelter from the infesting plague that has corrupted our city. We shall make them pay for all the misfortunes and woes we endured, the famine and the plague that has killed many of us. I say we bring the fear to them for once. We will storm their home in this tower and take their food, water, and other necessities that they've taken for granted. They have failed us, and we shall show these fools what happens when they look down upon people like us. Almost sound like a villain monologue there. He's like giving away the entire plan. This is what we're going to do to them. You hear us up there? Be prepared. This is what we're going to do. You think he would have you think he would have had a little meeting prior to this little arrangement here. The radical leader lit up the lighter and held it under the national flag. It erupted into flames, burning brightly in the dark streets of the night, as the enraged and infected homeless rioters cheered in unison, prompting them to charge toward the front entrance of the tower. They broke through, breaking the glass windows of the entrance, and headed inside. Each of them traveled from floor to floor up the elevators or stairs, breaking and entering the tower's apartments. Well, that was easy. Is there no security? The rioters allowed their actions to speak for them, hurting the male residents and pummeling some of them to death as their wives and children looked on in horror. See, now you lost me. At first, you kind of had me riveted with your very, passionate speech there, but now you're starting to lose me. The women suffered the most, enduring non-consensual intercourse. The women suffered the most, enduring non-consensual intercourse from the likes of sex-craved hungry strays who wanted to have a good time as they took part in these actions of uproar and rampage upon the upper class that inhabited this tower. Of course, security tried to fend them off. Oh, there is security. Of course, security tried to fend off the rioters, shooting them one by one with their guns. But soon, the strays overcame the small group of security guards, and they beat them to death with their planks of wood, crowbars, tire irons, anything they could grab and use that did some serious damage to their oppressors. Inside the tower at the lobby, the stray rioters were yelling and causing much anger and bloodshed to the remaining security guards, tied up by ropes and either bound to the lobby's pillars or on their knees. The rioters took turns killing each of the incapacitated guards of the tower, either shooting them in the head with the guards' home firearms or beating them to death with their own primitive weaponry. Suddenly, when it came time for one of the rioters, a young boy with black straight hair, to execute the defenseless guards with one of their own revolvers, somebody cried out that someone was coming inside the tower through the front entrance. Everybody gathered by the lobby and saw a lone sun-tanned stranger standing by the front entrance, wearing a belt with a small firearm holstered. "What the hell are you doing here?" the boy with black straight hair questioned the sun-tanned stranger. "Are you another..." I guess I should soften up my voice, huh? "What the hell are you doing here?" the boy with the black straight hair questioned the sun-tanned stranger. "Are you another one of the upper-class residents who live here? Well, buddy, this just isn't your day." The boy aimed his revolver at him, But the suntan stranger was quicker, drawing his gun from his holster and shooting a hole through the boy's head. Well, that was a short-lived character. His brain matter and blood splattered all over the white marble floor. The rioters turned their attention from the corpse of the black-haired boy to the suntan stranger wielding and aiming his lever-actioned pistol at them. The gun's barrel and receiver were made of brass metal with a dark brown wooden grip. On both sides of the pistol's receivers were two oval shapes colored in brass, but the shapes revealed themselves, opening their monstrous eyes. They were almost human-like, but they had an uncanny and otherworldly appearance to them, with their veins showing. The piercing, leering eyes of the demonically possessed pistol stared at the rioters with malicious intent. It hissed and glowed a darkly red aura as the suntan stranger began to open fire on the rest of the rioters. This is just a bloodbath. The stranger gunned them down repeatedly with gun-powdered bullets and dark magic that pierced through their bodies like they were made of cardboard. The rioters ran away in fear of the suntan stranger's deadly pistol, running to the elevators, the stairs, or the entrance as they were mowed down by the demonic pistol's bullets encased in powerful dark magic. After the rioters had scattered and left the lobby, and the suntan stranger chased down those who remained inside the tower, chasing them up the stairs and shooting down the rest of the fleeting rioters. Some who were shot fell down the stairs and over the ledge of the railing, and their corpse met the marble floor at the ground. The suntan stranger continued ascending the stairs, gunning down rioters one by one until they reached the 8th floor of the tower. The rioters tried to warn the others of the mad gunslinger mowing them down. Oh, he's the mad one. He's the crazy one. The rioters tried to warn the others of the mad gunslinger mowing them down one by one, but it was too late for the suntan angel of death as he appeared before them and shot them to kingdom come. He couldn't kill all of them, of course, but just enough to send the rampaging fools running away with their tails between their legs while he made his attempt to save the residents of the tower. He's saving them. Is that his intent? Those that witnessed the bloodshed committed by the stranger and survived continued to flee from the gunslinger, hiding in rooms or cowering behind their comrades before they were shot down along with them by the gunslinger. Some were desperate to not want their lives taken by the suntan gunslinger, dropping off the hanging gardens and pummeling and plummeting to their deaths. In each room that the stranger inspected on the 8th floor, he only encountered more corpses of the upper-class residents who were murdered by the rioters. This day of rage became a massacre for the residents of the tower. They stood no chance against the enraged mob. He heard a child crying, a young girl, in one of the rooms. He entered the room only to find two of the residents, a man and a woman. He followed the sound of the girl's sobbing and found the girl, a teenager of 15 or 16, in her room, cowering in the corner, shedding tears down her cheeks. The stranger offered her a hand to her, but he saw that her eyes were red, like the strays he saw who were infected with this unknown virus. Unfortunately, there was nothing he could do for her. The stranger left her there to suffer the horrific effects of the virus. When he appeared back in the lobby, he noticed many of the residents, probably from the 9th to 70th floors, descending the stairs or running towards the exit as the sound of the sirens wailed outside. Some of them were coughing as they exited the building. No doubt that many of them will become infected with the virus too. The stranger passed by the authorities unnoticed, by hiding amongst the crowd of fleeing residents before slipping away to his horse and riding off out of the city of Red Dawn for good. I wonder why he wanted to do that. I wonder why he felt the need to be a hero. It left behind a horrific impact on the people of Arcadia, including the residents of the tower who survived the massacre that would haunt them for the rest of their lives. Most of the residents who had survived the massacre were left infected by the rioters and were soon killed by the virus, along with the surviving strays who were involved in the rampage of death and destruction upon the tower that was once a shelter of safety and peace for the upper class. This bloody day became to be known as the Bloody Sunday Massacre. People named it so since the event occurred on a Sunday. No one, not even the authorities, knew of the suntan strangers' involvement in the massacre that took place, although some eyewitnesses recalled his existence amongst the crowd of fleeing residents. A woman also cited her encounter with the stranger when she was a teenager, saying that he came into her room when he heard her crying. Oh, so she survived. Interesting. She recalled the stranger lending a hand to her once he saw her, but he held it back once he noticed that she was infected with the virus. The woman didn't blame her, blame him. The woman didn't blame her, knowing that he didn't want to be infected too. I think blame him. Luckily, she survived after being infected with the virus thanks to her natural immunity, though she still wished her parents, two of the many victims of the Bloody Sunday Massacre, were still alive and with her. As for the rest of the Arcadians, no one knew what the future held for them after the massacre that took place. Those who were of the upper classes feared the lower classes more than ever, and the lower classes feared that they would face more discrimination from the upper classes, as well as eviction from the government to get them off the streets. Much of the population lost their trust in the government to solve this matter, nor did they seem to trust each other, still fearing the looming virus that plagued their once beautiful country. Their lives would forever change from then on, leaving the fate of Arcadia unknown. As for the suntan stranger, no one knew what happened to him or where he went. For many Arcadians, he was a distant memory, a fading away into obscurity as he continued his journey elsewhere into the red barren wasteland, riding on a pale horse like the deity of death. The end. So it's almost like this almost reads like a history story, as if this is like a lot of exposition here, a lot of exposition. So it almost reads like a news, almost like a news clipping or something like that, or from like a history textbook or something like that. Well, thanks for sharing that. And if you guys have something that you'd like me to check out, you'd have something that you'd like me to read. This could be a first chapter of a novel. This could be a short story, little piece of flash fiction. I prefer, kind of keep it short, keep it sweet. But if it's not too long, I'll read the whole thing. And or it could be like if you write another good example is serialized fiction. If you guys write serialized fiction for like Wattpad or like Kindle Vella, something like that, Royal Road, you could send me the link and I'll read the prequel. I mean, the preface or like the episode 1 of your serialized fiction. Or again, this could be an essay, or this could be like an editorial, something like that from your own blog. So you kind of get your own blog a shout out that way. All right. The next next segment, if I had something, would be featured media. So really, featured media is pretty much just the same exact thing as reading time, except instead of reading a piece of work from you, I'm watching one of your videos. Or this could just be an audio as well. So think like, that's why I say it's just media. So whether it's just a piece of audio, like it's just an audio, say you do like a little short web series or something like that, that's just audio only, or you're doing like you're doing like your own poetry reading, something like that. Or if you run a Booktube and you have a book review you want me to check out, you got a writer Authortube update that you want me to check out. Book trailers is another one. Or if you do like web series, or if you do video essays are fun too. So anything like that, you guys can share it with me. And what I'll do is I'll watch it live on the air, but not only will I watch it live on the air, but I'll kind of like add a little bit of commentary to it. I might give some first impressions of it, kind of like what I do with reading time. If it's more of a philosophical type thing, you're kind of sparking conversation. Maybe it's an opportunity for me to share my thoughts and opinions on whatever it is that you're talking about. I think that could be fun. So not only will I do that and share a link to the original video, but it is kind of serve as a means of you kind of getting your channel a little plug, and we can kind of connect with each other that way as well. And kind of, it's a kind of another way that I think of kind of building connections with people who are actively involved in the scene in a proactive, in an interactive kind of way. Like, hey, I see what you're doing with this show. Here's a link to a video I think maybe you might like to check out. Simple as that, really. All right, before I close up the show tonight, before I wrap up the show, I got one more segment to get to, and this is a little staple of the Monday night live stream that I like to call Hot Topic for Content Creators. Hot Topic for Content Creators. This is where I pitch a hot topic to you guys. And then you guys, if you feel so inclined, can turn around and produce a video on said topic on your own channels. And if you tag me in that video or just simply share a link to the video, then I may feature your video on said topic during a future live stream. We can kind of be like video pen pals in that way. Or else you're always welcome to just drop some comments down below, share your thoughts down below, or check out any of my previously pitched hot topic videos. And what I'll do is I may respond to your comments live on the air during a future show. So for tonight, let's go back to an oldie but goodie. And this is an ongoing conversation as a new subject, as we kind of continue to embroider these topics together. And we've covered quite a bit on this topic, quite a few subjects on this topic, but it continues to develop, so I continue to cover it. And that is the topic of art and artificial intelligence. That's right. So tonight I have an article for you guys that's prepared to read here. All right, so this article is going to be about this new generative AI, or this AI type of application that I've kind of come across here. I saw it the other day on Twitter. It was trending. Haven't heard of it before, so I figured, hey, maybe I would check this out and see what's going on with it. What is this? And this is a little application called character.ai. All right, so this article comes from geekygadgets.com. So if I want to learn anything about technology, might as well just go straight to a geek and they'll tell me all about it. And the title of this is, what is character AI and how to use it to create digital personalities? And this was published on June 12th, 2023, written by Julian Horsey. So recently, the development team at Character AI released both iPhone and Android apps for its amazing digital personality creator, enabling you to build a wide variety of artificial intelligent beings. Artificial intelligent beings that you can engage with in a wide variety of different ways. If you would like to know more about the AI services and creating your very own AI characters and personalities, this quick guide will take you through everything you need to know to get started. So Character AI is a fascinating application that fuses technology and creativity, allowing users to breathe life into their imagination by crafting unique digital personas. These characters, as they're known, can be created using two modes, quick and advanced, catering to varying levels of user experience and desire for detail. So here's a brief introduction to Character AI. Character AI is the brainchild of cutting-edge, deep learning models, including large language models constructed and trained specifically for crafting conversational experiences. The system operates by simulating human conversations with the potential to create dialogue that is both engaging and contextual. The dual modes of Character AI. The quick mode is perfect for beginners. This mode is designed to help users create interesting characters in a jiffy. If you're looking to dip your toes into the waters of AI-assisted character creation, the quick mode is a great place to start. On the other hand, the advanced mode offers a more comprehensive toolkit for the tech-savvy creators who prefer to have more control over the refinement of their characters. This mode unlocks a plethora of powerful tools that help in fine-tuning every aspect of the character. So here's the building blocks of a character. The defining traits of a character revolve around three crucial elements. One, character attributes. These outline the inherent qualities of a character, acting as their building blocks. Number two, character training. The interactions and feedback a character receives from conversations. The current discourse dictates the character's responses. Number two, character training. The interactions and feedback a character receives from conversations significantly shape its responses. Okay. Then number 3 is the context of the conversation. The current discourse dictates the character's responses. I will say, so that is interesting development here. I think that's where this generative AI technology is starting to brush with the idea of attempting to pass the old Turing test, as it may be. Like the Turing test is like, so I've since learned specifically what the Turing test is basically it's more of a conversational thing. So the Turing test is like whether or not you can tell as a human being that you are having a conversation with an artificial intelligence. So the Turing test, if the AI passes the Turing test, then basically what that simply means is that you are unable as a human being to differentiate the experience of talking to a human being versus talking to an artificial intelligence. Yeah. So we'll get into it, but let me continue the article here. Realistic conversation with characters. So you will be pleased to know that character AI's algorithms prioritize realism and cooperation during conversations, regardless of how meticulously a character is trained for a specific task. If a user veers off topic, the character adapts and follows the new conversation direction. So he doesn't challenge that. Whereas I would say I think that would make it a little less realistic if they're just going along with it. I mean, if it's someone like, say, if it's someone who's actually vested in the conversation, they're probably going to point that out to someone and say, hey, whoa, you're going off the rails a little bit. Weren't we talking about this? And then kind of reel them back into the conversation versus just going with it and just talking about, whatever. But hey, maybe some people enjoy that. So character AI's functioning can be likened to a supercomputer absorbing vast amounts of textual data, learning patterns, and predicting suitable responses. So your character AI is a sociopath. All kidding aside here. Predicting suitable responses, characters, in a manner of speaking, generate their content on the fly, making conversations feel natural and fluid. However, they are not infallible. They might occasionally recommend non-existing songs or provide fictitious information, all in the name of generating a conversation that feels realistic. We'll bullshit you, I will say. Now, that would actually probably make it more realistic. The definition aspect of character AI offers a wide berth for creative exploration in character development, albeit with a dash of complexity. You can consider it akin to an empty canvas awaiting an artist's touch. I really don't like how they keep using like artistic metaphors for this AI stuff. Like when a lot of this AI stuff has literally nothing to do with art at all. It has nothing to do with art. It has more to do with computer science. It has more to do with science than I would argue than it has to do with art. However, they keep like people who are involved in these spheres, they keep trying to conflate the two, but it's not. It's more like these things are more akin to mathematics and like geometries and sciences than they are akin to anything that has to do with the art world. You can say that's my opinion, but I would argue that it's, there's a lot more. You can argue more. You can reasonably and logically argue for that a lot more convincingly than you can for the artistic side of the argument. But I digress. So it's akin to an empty canvas awaiting an artist's touch, a space for you to foster unique behaviors. However, in some instances, simplicity can outshine complexity. You might find that for certain characters, providing just an ingenious greeting could stir the system's creativity. Leading to the generation of an improvised context that could surpass a meticulously drafted definition. The effectiveness of each approach primarily depends on the individual character and the setting you're working with. So basically, it sounds like a very, very complex version of Tamagotchi, really, is what I'm getting from this so far. Character AI NSFW. If you're wondering about NSFW, aka not safe for work content, it's critical to know that Character AI maintains a strict policy against supporting pornographic content. However, the developers are striving to extend the boundaries of character traits, allowing for a greater diversity in personalities, if you will. For instance, they're working on features that would allow villain characters to be less polite or use light swearing, making conversations more varied and realistic. You want to talk shit? What if I want to create a character that just talks shit? You know, I just want to talk shit with my character AI. I want to be able to create. There's an idea. I want to, maybe people, the blue collar types, they want to come home from a nice, long, hard day of busting their ass, and they want to create a character AI version of their boss that they can have a little sit down with, crack a beer after work, have a little sit down with the character AI version of their boss and tell their boss exactly what's on their mind. That would be fun, huh? Wouldn't that be fun? Talk some shit to your boss, without having to reap the repercussions of such behavior. Now that would be comical. That would be useful. I think that would actually bring some utility to this otherwise seemingly useless app. But that part is just my opinion. Privacy in character AI. When it comes to privacy, character AI has stringent measures in place. The conversations you have with characters are private by default, and you have control over the visibility. See, there you go. Make it all private. Talk as much shit as you want. Talk as much shit as you want, that SOB. Tell them how you really feel. Another pizza party? I want a raise. Furthermore, creators cannot access the conversations users have with their characters, ensuring privacy and confidentiality. All right, there you go. Tell the character AI all your deepest, darkest secrets, you guys. It's totally private. It's totally confidential. Where have we heard that one before? Deleting characters and conversations. Users have been granted the capability to manage and delete data from their accounts. Delete. From deleting posts and comments to removing entire accounts. So to learn more about creating your very own digital personalities, jump over to the official instruction manual. So I will be leaving a link to this article in the show notes where they leave a link to the official instruction manual for you guys. So what do you think about that? What do you guys think about that one? Let's check this out here. Let's take a look at this pic real quick. See what we got here. So here's one of the UIs, I guess one of the UI screens for this character AI. So we got create a character there. You can create a room. And as you can see down at the bottom there, they got some different things. They got Lily, a little pre-rendered character, I suppose. Your friendly AI assistant. Then you got Lyle. You got Lyle's bitch ass down there. Your no-nonsense AI assistant. So you got the friendly AI assistant, then you got your no-nonsense AI assistant. You got Stella, who is not, quote, your AI assistant. Who is she assisting? Maybe she's assisting one of those 3-letter agencies. Who knows? Stella. Watch out for Stella. I heard she glows. Then you got Pair Programmer, your programming AI assistant. Then, of course, up here at the top, it looks like we have someone was creating some characters here. They want to have a little, maybe it was a chick. This had to have been a chick who was playing around with this. She created a Edward Cullen. Apparently she's Team Edward. She wanted to have a little chit chat with Edward, the sparkly one. And then, of course, we got Taylor Swift over there. Taylor Swift. She created a AI version of Taylor Swift. Yeah, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to spend my Friday night talking to no phony baloney Taylor Swift, let alone an AI character programmed to behave like her. Someone please tell me what the hell is going on here. Please. This AI stuff, it's just getting crazy, man. It's getting crazy out there. You guys tell me what you think. We're living in clown world at this point. This is upside down land. We got NPCs impersonating human beings while human beings are being paid to act like NPCs. Ice cream, yum. Ice cream, yum. Ice cream, yum. Can we get this shit straightened out, please? We're living in La La Land. It's fucking backwards, upside down land. Well, what do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Here's my take, all right? I'll leave you with a little nugget, all right, for you to think about. Here's a little nugget, free of charge for you to think about as far as the context of this article goes. So I feel like maybe that's the agenda all along. You know, call me a conspiracy theorist. It's only a conspiracy theory until it's proven a conspiracy fact, as far as that goes. But I almost wonder sometimes with a lot of this bullshit that is kind of snatching up people's attention for no good fucking reason whatsoever, seemingly no productive reason whatsoever, no meaningful reason whatsoever, just an empty fucking time suck, is really what I think what it is it's just meant to like isolate. Really, I think like sometimes I almost wonder if like that's the end goal is apathy. You know what I mean? Have you lost your faith in humanity yet? Think about that. How you feel, how things like this make you feel. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole like, ice cream good, ice cream good. You know what I mean? Seeing that shit on a daily and realizing that people like that are making thousands of dollars. Not just that they're making thousands of dollars, but that there's actually a fucking dim-witted, dumbass audience out there for that type of thing, who are not only willing to spend their finite time on this earth watching that, but also actively funding it. So, I feel like, and is it even real? That's the thing. Because people get sucked up in the numbers too. They see a lot of people, they see a lot of numbers and they think, oh, that means it's popular, or oh, that means it's significant or it's relevant in some way. But I kind of stress that you guys need to, people maybe pump the brakes a little bit and realize that you can't believe everything you see on the internet. Those numbers might not actually mean a goddamn thing. It might just be all smoke and mirrors, right? And a lot of those super chats, or the money, the donations that some of these creators are getting, who fucking knows where that crap is coming from? You know what I'm saying? Who's really funding this crap? A lot of this crap that's out here, which is why I try to stress people to pay attention to the quality of the content. Content is king at the end of the day. I come from old school blogging. Old school blog, white hats would tell you that content is king. Content is king. Some people may think, quantity is king. Just shell out, just churn out. Sure, you might get a steady stream of traffic if that may be, if you're pulling out numbers, but not from people like me. I'll tell you that right now. Not from people like me who actually care about what's going on in the scene, at in a cultural sense, in an artistic sense. In other words, the quality of the content itself, that's what I'm looking at. If it's just some doofus behind the camera, not really doing much of anything and just expecting people to like open their wallets, well, I'm just like, all right, well, that's just that's nothing. And if I see like 200 plus 300 hundreds of people are tuning in, I feel like I'm literally the smartest person in the room at that point. You know what I mean? I don't care how many people are tuning in. I don't care how many people in the room are telling me that a powdered sugar fucking turd tastes good. I'm going to fucking kindly disagree. And I'm not going to consume that. You could put as much powdered sugar over that turd as you want. If I see through the bullshit and it doesn't smell right to me, I'm going to keep it moving. But I feel like that's kind of what a lot of this stuff is meant to do, is to make you feel apathetic, because people will look at it. Oh, well, they're getting their bag, man. You're just a hater. They're getting their bag. Well, not really. Yeah, there are people there. There's always going to be shills. There's always going to be people who pretend to be enthusiastic about shit in order to, get the bag, so to speak. But that, that's not for me. All I'm saying is that's simply not for me. That's not why I'm here, So that's not really something like that I would like. It's up to you as the consumer. I'm saying you have a choice. I don't care if there's 100 people in the room. If I'm the only one in the room willing to point out the fact that, hey, this is shit, I got to keep it moving. I don't care. Like in other words, I may not shit on people. In other words, go out of my way to hate. That's kind of pointless too. Like, that's kind of a waste of my time. That's a waste of my time, effort, and talents to just be hating. You know what I mean? I'm not about to spend my time doing that either, because that also, in its own twisted sense, gives attention to the nonsense, when you do that. So I'm not going to spend my time doing that. I'm just going to continue to keep it moving and kind of seek out the real ones as far as that goes. The people who seemingly actually care about what's going on in the scene, and actually are striving for greatness, striving to make good works, and they're actively involved, not just to line their pockets, but because they want to appreciate the art form in whatever medium it is that they're in. And I feel like when a lot of this shit hits the news and all that, you know, the NPC stuff and the ice cream good, like that's meant to get inside your head and fuck with you and get you to pay attention to things that really, at the end of the day, do they really deserve your attention? You know, you got to stop and ask yourself, if content is king, do those things actually deserve your attention? Fuck how popular it is. Like I said, I could be the only person in the room that says a powdered sugar covered turd is not something that I want to consume. And everybody else say, oh, you just got to try it, man. You just got to try it. Just try it, man. It's really good. You're going to like it. I'm like, it's actually just it's just a powdered sugar covered turd. And I don't really want to eat that. Thanks though. Thanks you guys. You know, however many hundred of you that are in the room. Thank you. Thank you for, making me feel just that much more isolated, you know, but I almost feel like that's when you start focusing on the numbers and like how popular stupid shit is. It's almost like I feel like there's like this another layer where it's like that's kind of like the end goal is for you to lose your faith in humanity. You know what I mean? Like, holy shit, are people this fucking stupid? Are people this fucking retarded that this stupid nonsense bullshit stimulates their simpleton minds for X amount of hours, days, what have you? You know what I'm saying? Not challenging. They're not being challenged at all. Like literally the most basic, stupid fucking bullshit. And these people are like just eating it up. Ice cream good. Just like that. And they're just fucking drooling on their goddamn phone while they continue to shell out money. Like I say, don't believe everything you see on the internet. All that shit could just be smoke and mirrors. You don't know what those numbers represent. People see this thing where it's like they see a bunch of numbers on a fucking live stream and they think that's all a representation of actual human beings. No. That could be all smoke and mirrors. You look over, okay, there's hundreds of people tuning into the live stream. You look over to the fucking chat. There's only about a dozen active users on the chat. That's fucking peculiar. You know what I mean? So don't let this stuff, what all I'm saying from this angle is, my angle is maybe that's the end goal. That's the agenda here. It's like this agenda with the algorithms I'm talking about now, with the algorithms to push the nonsense content to almost like get people thinking in their head that this is the shit that sells. This is what, in other words, this is what you now need to do. And I'm saying to you, no, there are those of us out here that pay attention with our eyeballs, with our ears, to what people are actually creating, what people are actually producing, what people are actually doing on the internet. So you, in other words, what I'm trying to say is you don't have to feel pressured to succumb to the bullshit, succumb to the algorithmic manipulation, is what I say. The goddamn elite, it's this global elite. The global elite, what they want to do is they want to turn your children into robots that they can remote control from their cellular devices. They have access to your child through their cellular devices and control them like a robot. And they're going to eat the bugs. And they're going to own nothing. And they're all going to be gay. So don't let the apathy take hold. You know, if you're starting to feel like you're losing your faith in humanity because of all the quote unquote popularity and the clout that all the nonsense and the stupid bullshit content that people are putting out there seem to be gaining, you know, don't forget that the internet, by and large, is a lot of fucking smoke and mirrors. And you can't believe the numbers. This is why I always stress, don't pay attention to the damn numbers. Use your eyeballs to discern. Use your ears. Have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Develop your own discernment. And remember that content is king. Fuck quantity. Pay attention to the content itself. What kind of effort are people putting in? Okay, what kind of product are people producing? Okay. So I'll be happy to hear what you guys have to say on this one. A little bit of a heavy hitter at the end there, but I kind of want to, I've covered a lot of stuff as far as this AI thing goes and how it's been affecting the art world. So I just wanted to kind of come up with a different kind of a new subject, if you will, as it pertains to something like this. Are we losing our humanity? There are people, when I saw this trending on Twitter, there were actually people on Twitter that I assumed were real human beings fucking crying, practically crying online that they couldn't log into their friggin' character AI account because it was down for some reason, maybe for maintenance or whatever. And they were practically crying online that they weren't going to be able to talk to their friggin' fucking waifu girlfriend or whatever the fuck. I don't know. Whatever it is. Have their conversation. How sick is that? I'll call it like I see it. That's fucking sick. You got something you got a little screw loose up there. You know what I mean? If you genuinely are starting to feel that way and building, a relationship with this fucking AI, you fucking relax, dude and dudettes. Fucking eat shit as far as that goes. No sugar. Oh, God. You ain't on my level. That's all I got to say about that. You ain't on my fucking level. I don't care if I'm the only one in the room protesting. I will literally be like, yeah, literally all of you people are not on my level. Literally all of you. Every single one of you is a fucking dumbass. And I have no problem feeling that way either. I don't give a shit. I'll go back to my fucking hermit hut and live in peace, live in peace with a clear fucking conscience, knowing that I myself am not continuing to enable, perpetuate, and support the bullshit that's going on out there. You guys have fun with that. Hey, Rainer Chan. Time for the wrap up. I got some comments to check out, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Fucking makes me chuckle. Fucking NPC. You got NPCs impersonating human beings, and human beings being paid to play NPCs. Fucking Christ. And the thing about it is, it's all a choice. It's literally, when you tell people it's a matter of choice, they're like, well, yeah. They start coming up with all these fucking excuses. It's like, nah, dude, it's you. It's not them. It's not the app. You can't blame the app. You cannot. You cannot blame the app. You cannot blame, you cannot sit there and blame what other people are doing. No, it's you. I don't care if you're hating on it or if you love it. It's you. You're the one giving it the attention that it does not deserve. Or if you think that it doesn't deserve it, you're still giving it attention if you're hating on it. That's you. The problem is not the thing. The problem is you. You can hate on it all you want, but that doesn't make, no matter how much you hate on a thing, that doesn't make the thing the problem. You are still the problem because you are the one giving it the time, effort, and attention. It's that simple. All right, let's break this down, baby. Let's do oh, we already did that one. Yeah, you hungry? Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my kitchen. We're gonna cook a pizza. Yeah. We're cooking up the pizza. We're gonna cook a pizza with the pepperoni and the mozzarella. When you cook up the pizza, though, you gotta make sure one thing. You gotta make sure that the crust is crunchy. You want to make sure you get that crust nice and crunchy. All right? And that's the good pizza pie. All right? Let's see what's going on with the comments tonight. Oh, yeah. Seriously. Fucking as much as I love going off on that, that's about as much attention as it's gonna get out of me, I have to say. Just to set the record straight, really. And if that offends you, fucking too bad. Send your comments to your ass. That's what I think about that. Fucking no skin off my back. Trust me, I'm gonna keep doing what I do. For real. All right, we got Ben Pick running to right, stopping by the channel. This is from Now We're Cooking, back in July 10th show. He says, fucking Slayer. That's not how he spelled it. However, that is the proper way to pronounce it. Also, wow, nice Troma pull. Yeah, Tromeo and Juliet. Have you seen that? I haven't thought of them in a decade, not since the last time I had a conversation about Cannibal the Musical and Toxic Avenger. I haven't seen Cannibal the Musical. I have seen Toxic Avenger, though. Troma is the house that Toxie built. Well, they were indie before indie was cool. Indie film. All right, we got a nice long one here from The Right Mindset. This is Thomas J. Beleza. This is from the July 17th show. A reading rainbow, if you will. So he left timestamps. I won't go through I won't click the timestamps, but if you want context as far as this goes, you can check that out. It was a fun time. That was a good show. It says, are you going to turn into the new opera with the book club and reading? If so, I'm in, but could you please wear nicer dresses than she has? I'm not really sure. I'm not sure about that one. I guess I'll have to check the context on that one. He says, it's great that you're giving people a chance to be approved for their writing can be seen. Oh, that must be in regard to Storyteller Society. Yeah, really just a collaborative. Like people who are writers, man. If you're in the writing community, I mean, my blog is open. It's my blog. So yeah, I'm going to approve whatever it is that you submit first. And if it's something that I feel is, good and something that I want to represent through my website, then yeah, I'll approve it. I'll publish it. And that is something that I continue to market on your behalf on a weekly basis. He says, new segments, woohoo! He has a good voice for YouTube, and he's going to only get better. He must be referring to T. Alex Ratcliffe. Yeah, he's been around on YouTube for a while. I think he just recently, though, kind of revamped his channel. He's doing, he's focusing now on book reviews for indies. Says, I do not believe traditional publishing is obsolete. I'd say it's changing and adjusting to the times. Yeah, that's an interesting take. That is an interesting take. He says, it's all fake news when you see their lips moving. But in all seriousness, with the strike, as a union member of SAG-AFTRA and associated with all elements of the entertainment industry, I'd like to add the following. He says the strike will not affect writing as an author for novels. So I was talking about my last week. I was talking about traditional publishing is obsolete. However, I should title that as it goes with these strikes, kind of traditional publishing / production obsolete. But yeah, I get what you're saying. It is only for media. This would be film, television, streaming, radio, etc. Not the written word within the author world of publishing. I gotcha. The writing union handles writers that create scripts or anything people have to say. However, there is the quote, the Authors Guild, and that guild is standing in solidarity with WGA. Oh, I did not know that. The majority of the actors are not big actor names. Yeah, he says correct on that one. They are background, day players, etc. We do get paid wages. So he goes on to say, you should have me on to talk about the strike. I can clear things up and put the reality of what's going on into perspective. And then laughs his ass off at the air horn. You want an air horn? I'm playing my song right now. Maybe I'll give you an air horn if you come on. I'll tell you what, Thomas. I'll propose this. Thanks for the comment, by the way. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, if you're here, I'll put this out. I haven't really thought about it. The Hot Topic segment was really meant to inspire people to create their own content. It was for content creators. So inspire other content creators to produce their own videos or write their own blog posts or leave comments. However, I will pose this. If you are here next Monday, when I'm ready to do the hot topic, if you're in other words, if I see that you're in the comments, or you're active in the comments or something like that, then what I'll do when about time I'm ready to do the hot topic, I'll just go ahead, I'll send you the link and you can jump right on stream and we can have a little chat about it and you can clear the air. As far as that goes, I would like to actually, I didn't know that you were a member. I remember you telling me that you had some experience with unions, but I did not know that you were actually a member of SAG-AFTRA yourself. So, yeah, I think that would be valuable to have you on the air. So if you hear this, that's my proposal to you. And for the rest of you who either tuned in live or you're watching this on the replay, I hope y'all had some fun. I hope y'all discovered something new. But don't fret, because guess what? Like I said before, I will be back here for you next week, same time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good week. Oh, hell yeah. That's my guy. Yeehaw! We got to support us, buy his product. Buy.
This offended my sensibilities.